Yeah. So what do we got? Yeah. What is this?
Good afternoon. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, March 6, 2024, 2 o'clock meeting. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
The usual. For those of you who have not been here before, we're going to call any request for adjournment first. If there are any, if there are none, then we'll start to call the calendar. The procedure we follow is the applicant will first state their case. If there are any people who are here in opposition, they'll be able to voice their objections. And finally, we give the applicant or their representative the opportunity to sum up, and then we'll close the case. Some cases will be decided today, others will be put on hold for a period of time for various reasons. The proceedings are live streamed, they're archived. Anyone who would like to review them later on, you're free to do so. We have a court reporter who takes down most, if not all, of the testimony given, and I think that's sufficient. Call the case. Do we have any applications for an adjournment?
Yes. First, we have case 16224, near Lawrence, Millstream Realty LLC. Special exception to park in the front yard setback, variance in off-street parking with insufficient stall size and maneuvering aisle, also known as 235 Mill Street.
Anyone here on that? Oh, Mr. Brown. Okay. Do you want to turn the microphone on?
Hello.
Good.
Good afternoon.
That's better.
Christian Brown, McLaughlin and Stern, 1122 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, for the applicant. This is an industrial building with a number of tenants in it. The mix of the proposed tenants has changed, so we just recently, in the last day or so, filed an updated site plan with updated parking calculations. Needs time to be reviewed by the building department and to confirm the parking counts, and then we could proceed, but we're requesting an adjournment because we had to amend the plan.
How long do you think you'll need?
Well, we also just filed it, I believe yesterday it was officially uploaded, so we want to allow sufficient time under the board's rules, so maybe we could come back in about a month if that's possible.
May 15th or? All right. We have room on May 15th or June 5th. What is your preference?
May 15th would be fine. I'm here that day anyway, so
Okay.
we could have May 15th at 2 p.m.
2 p.m.?
Thank you. I believe there's some people who'd signed in here, I saw on the sheet, so.
Would anyone else like to speak? Come up. Name and address for the record, yes, please.
Chester Petrak, 234 Allen Street, Lawrence, New York.
Okay.
They've done this numerous times where they've tried to bump when it could be checked. When it went from tennis time to the Hollywood Atrium, they bumped it a couple of times. Then they went from the Hollywood Atrium to Life Fitness. They bumped it again about the parking. Okay, they do this all the time until people
So hold on, just say what you mean by bumped.
ask for an adjournment.
Postpone it?
Ask for an adjournment.
Okay.
So they've done this numerous times. There is no way that parking can be allowed on Mill Street.
That goes to the crux of the case. That
Right.
goes to the merits of the case. We're only hearing your argument, if there is any, with respect to their application for an adjournment.
Because they do it all the time.
Okay.
And they keep bumping it, and people like myself, who has to take a day off from work to come here and fight this, you can only take so many days off, or they say no.
Okay.
Your information, this is the first time that this
case
case
is on.
is
Correct.
before the
This
board.
case, same building, sir.
Same what?
Same building.
That building has been there, I've lived in that house for 5 generations in that house. That's been about a dozen things. And every time there's a problem with the parking, or every time there's a problem with the building, they continue to bump it until no one can show up and fight it. It's an ongoing thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Did the other things that it came before us for, I get they came before us for something, then it got adjourned, and then finally heard, were those on each occasion, did they come to fruition and the business opened and then later closed, or?
Yes,
This is a new application. We're going to hear this case on the 15th at 2 p.m. We understand your concern about the fact that it's been adjourned before, but those were for other uses. This is a brand-new
And it
case.
will be heard.
but it's for the same issue, sir, it's parking.
Okay. All right?
So barring some unforeseen event, it will go forward that day.
Yep.
We're not in the habit of granting multiple
Multiple
bumps.
adjournments on the same application.
Okay.
Okay?
You're not going to receive a notice either. He'll have to update the sign posting, but you will not receive another notice.
So anyone who's here on the case, you can put it on your calendar now. And if there's anyone else who's not here, you want to let them know, do so.
Case will go forward that day.
But again, there's no more mailing.
All right? Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Come up.
Okay.
Same case.
Good afternoon. My name is Liana Santoro. I reside at 231 John Street in Lawrence, and I would like to expand on Mr. Chester's comments. This location started many years ago as tennis courts, and the occupancy, because they were tennis courts, was very limited. Therefore, the parking was sufficient. The parking lot is very large.
Ma'am.
I just want to say that, this is a very, very serious problem. The neighborhood is densely populated with children and residents, families. We can just barely make it down the roads ourselves now because there isn't sufficient parking for the families, never mind this facility, again, that has gone through iterations of changes, and it just gets worse and worse with each iteration of use.
Good.
Could you please, for everybody's benefit, could you please repeat the date and the time?
It's May 15th, 2024 at 2 p.m. And by the way, we're not bound by the strict rules of evidence, so if you want to send in letters, you want to send in emails, we accept all of those things, and we will take them into consideration in ultimately making a decision.
Can I
Thank
just
you.
ask real quick, Mr. Brown, what is the use that's going to be, I don't want to get into merits, except just to ask you, this is a new parking variance, and what is the use that's being proposed there? Like, in 2 words?
Or less.
It's a large building in an industrial zone. There are a number of tenants that have been in the building over time. It's shared space. So I believe this is going to propose 4 tenants.
Are
One
any of
is-
the tenants there now, you mean, or 4 new tenants?
No, at least one is there now. There
Okay.
I just want.
there will be some new tenants, and there's, I believe the existing tenant that's remaining is a gymnastics facility, children's gymnastics.
Do you know what the nature of any of the new businesses are?
Yeah, essentially, there's a caterer, a gymnastics facility, a facility, not a school, but a facility that helps.
Tutoring or something?
Tutoring for children with learning disabilities. And the rest of the space is a warehouse space for a local clothing
Okay.
store.
Have it in my
All right,
mind.
that's far afield of what we're here for today. You'll be given the opportunity to state your case on the 15th, as will the applicant, all right? Okay, you can make that argument, sir, you can make that argument on the 15th, okay? Thank you. Patrick, call the next case, please.
Next, we have an
Welcome.
adjournment for case 76523, Belmore Hempstead, Belmore L.I. Incorporated, Wasim Hakim. Special exception for proposed religious and educational use, construct a two-story mosque on a larger lot with height and front yard setback variances. Variance in off-street parking and special exception to park in front yard setback. Install 6-foot-high fence greater distance forward to the street than the front building line. Demolish existing building, also known as 1425 Newbridge Road. Gentlemen, just your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, board members. Jason Kayoshai, 1220. Sure. Good afternoon, board members. Jason Kayoshai, 1225 Franklin Avenue, Suite 325, Garden City, New York,
Are you an attorney?
11530. I am an attorney, yes. So we are seeking an application to adjourn on the grounds that we recently received, as of February 24th, an email of the board's decision dated November 16, 2023, stating that the Nassau County Planning Commission sought a parking analysis for the mosque.
Wait, that was a decision on February 24th from Nassau County?
That's when we received.
From Nassau County, though? You
Correct.
said the board.
This
Correct.
board.
Yes. So
Not this
they're saying that the decision is being held in abeyance up until we are to provide the parking analysis. Due to the short notice and the time from February 24th to today, the mosque has not had an opportunity to get one done. I believe that this next week, the holy month of Ramadan begins, and it's the peak time of the year. So doing a parking analysis during that time, I think, would be very beneficial and very instructive as to what the parking situation is going to be like when it gets really busy.
Okay.
So we need additional time to get this done, and
So you're planning to do the parking analysis?
yes,
Now, do you have an expert already in mind?
yes.
Who's the-
I don't know I spoke to one of the board members today, whose name is Kamer Khan, and he told me that he spoke to the expert. He didn't give me a name yet, but he told me that he spoke to someone today, and they're able to get it done during this
So
month.
when you come in, so after Ramadan?
Yes.
You'll provide a copy to the file?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you if you could provide one. Are you representing the opposition?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you could get one to him if possible.
Absolutely.
But we'll be, I think that's a great idea. So we'll be in receipt of an analysis at the busiest time of the year.
Correct.
I think that's true.
Yeah, so just the timing just happened to work out perfectly, so.
Great.
So when you get that, if you don't mind, when you get that report, you'll send it to Mr. Patrick Owens, the secretary to the board, and then he'll forward it to the planning commission. Wait for their response, and then we'll go forward from there.
Okay,
And you'll get one to Mr.
absolutely. I've been in contact with Mr. Weinstein, so no problem.
How is June 12th?
The mosque was seeking an earlier date. Is there anything in May?
It really isn't.
There isn't?
Nope.
June 12th.
June 12th, okay, 2 PM? Council? I have no problem. Okay.
Anyone else here on that case? Again, like we said earlier, you're not gonna get another mailing as to the date, so put it on your calendar now. And Mr. Weinstein, you probably have their contact information so that if you get this report, you can provide it to, you guys all stay in contact? I don't want anyone to come in here at the next hearing and say, well, we didn't see this or that. We want everyone to have all the information they need. Okay?
Just for your edification, this is the first time this case is on. It's been the policy of the board, Oh, second time on. All right. So this case is going to be heard that day, June 12th, 2 PM. Nope,
Who asked for the first one?
Yeah, I'll tell him.
Okay,
Oh.
so that's why, it's the first
That's why
time
it's
the
the first
applicant.
time the
That's what
applicant
the
asked
chairman
for
was saying. So now everyone's gotten their bite at the apple. It's going to be heard that day.
gonna hear the case.
And that's that.
Counselor,
Right.
you'll update the signage that's in front of the building as well to show the new
Yep.
date.
And make sure that you realize it's at 2 o'clock, because usually they're 9:30.
2 o'clock. So
Which
June-
actually is beneficial, because you don't have to sit here as long.
Yeah, I mean, we were willing to proceed today, just for everyone in the room, but were it not for this parking analysis issue that came up, that wasn't in
From the
our
county.
control.
all right. So you'll be ready to go on the 12th.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, yes.
And
Thank you.
get them to study as soon as you can. Like, don't
Absolutely.
wait till the
As
day
soon as-
before.
As soon as it's done, we'll
Thank
get it, yeah.
Okay? Thank you.
One last thing, if you need the addresses as long, of the people who are here in case you want to communicate with them further with information like that study, or if you have a,
Yes.
you could probably get a copy of the sign-in sheet so that you can send information to them. You know how it works. You were here for Napoli Marble, weren't you? Never mind.
Let's move
It
on.
was 19 years ago.
Let's move on.
That
Right.
explains a lot.
Yes, ma'am? Yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay? All right, thank you for your participation. We'll see you on the 12th, and you'll be ready to try the case. Okay? Thank you. Oh, we have someone else? Yes, sir. Name and address for the record.
Jason Fischetti, 1489 Horseshoe Drive in North Belmore.
Okay?
My friend Rich and I are here on behalf of the school district in regards to the mosque and the parking.
Yep.
We're very glad to hear that they're doing a study. That's what we were going to request. But I would just request that when that study is done, it's made very clear that I would say the majority of all of the mosque parking is in the school district parking lot, the private lot next to the school district, the Citibank lot, and it's already beyond capacity.
What do you mean that the mosque parking is in the school parking?
So it just that the mosque itself, I would estimate, has 20 spots. And during services, there are hundreds of people coming.
Yeah.
So when that overlaps the school day, the employees have no parking.
Okay.
We have one private
I'm not
lot
going to get into the merits.
that I just want to make sure that in that in the parking study, it's
No.
explained that they're already
We're not
using.
getting into the merits.
You and your school district should address that in, you know. That's not before us, do what you gotta do as a school board.
Well, in other words, we just wanted to make it clear that currently they don't have enough.
Got it.
We'll get that, and that's the crux of
They
this
should get them.
case.
I'm not going to say
But
that.
your issue is with your school.
I'm not, okay. All right,
Well, it's,
Okay.
Folks.
I didn't mean to.
we set the case down for June 12th. You can reserve your comments for the June 12th hearing, okay? Not going to get into the merits. That's reserved for another day. Thank you very much for coming in, and you'll have the opportunity to present your arguments on that date.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other applications for adjournment. Is there anybody else here that is looking to adjourn a hearing?
They're gone.
Okay. We'll start with case 15024, Belmore, Andrea Weiner, maintain pool equipment not permitted in side yard, also known as 2443
Get a
Surf
message
Drive.
to the lawyer. Tell her to get a message, get a message to him. I'm not going to put up.
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chairman.
Goddamn
My name
case.
is Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here today to represent for our clients Andrea and Doran Weiner, who are the owners and occupants of the subject property located at 2443 Surf Drive in Belmore. We are here today to request a variance to allow the pool equipment in the side yard. As you can see from the plans, the lot is irregularly shaped, causing a considerable amount of rear yard to be absent. This occurs because of the angle property line located along the north portion of the property. This angle creates a chamfer of what would normally be a rectangular shaped lot. If the pool equipment were to be located within the substandard rear yard and in compliance with the minimum 4-foot rear and side yard setbacks, it would occupy approximately a 12-foot by 8-foot area, reducing the amount of usable space for recreation. Additionally, our research has shown that a similar variance was granted for 2918 Shore Road in Belmore under permit number 16-7741 for both an in-ground pool and pool equipment in the side yard. This property is located 3 lots away to the north from the subject property and is located on the radius map as well. These are our only requests at this time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
The pool, it's maintain an in-ground pool under, is it a building permit or an application number 223556?
It's a permit, and then we submitted a supplement set of plans after
Okay.
the fact that were changed.
Why wasn't your client able to build the pool as per the permit that was issued?
Well, we're not here for the pool, we're just for the pool equipment.
The pool and pool equipment are married. Why, when they submitted an application that, and they were granted a permit for 22-3556, they were given a pool permit along with the location of the pool equipment. Why wasn't that complied with?
I believe as I stated, it's due to the fact of how much space it ended up that it would have taken over, and also it has, the lot is in a flood zone. So based off the minimal amount of space that they have, they chose to put it on the side.
Do you have a copy of the plot plan that was originally submitted with that permit application?
I do not, we were not the architect of record who originally submitted the pool permit. We took over for the supplement.
You understand my point?
I
They
do.
were given a permit, they did something different than the permit,
Contrary.
and now you're asking the board to condone that. It was like they didn't do the, they didn't
Right.
build the pool in good faith.
I understand.
Thank
I
you.
can't-
I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion? Somebody want to make a motion?
The stuff from the other case.
Second. All in favor?
Upload it, yeah.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
I'll give it to you just in case at the end.
Next, we have case 15124 through 15224, Merrick Joseph Renier. Variance side yard maintain AC unit attached to dwelling, special exception to maintain accessory structure, outdoor kitchen with fireplace exceeding horizontal maximum, also known as 202 Camp Avenue. Ms. Lowe, we have you on record, sworn in from earlier, just your name and address for the record.
My name is Ashley
Wait,
Lowe from Mark
Time in a
Anthony.
minute, Ashley, hold on a second.
Hey, give us 1 second. There's plans. Six squares on the page. Yeah, it won't be folded either. All right.
Okay.
You can proceed.
Go ahead.
My name is Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here today to represent for our client Joseph Ranieri, who is the owner and occupant of the subject property located at 202 Camp Avenue in Merrick, New York. Today, we are requesting a special exception for an accessory structure for an outdoor kitchen. The outdoor kitchen exceeds the horizontal maximum of 12 feet, having a length of 15.5 feet, for which 3.5 feet of relief is needed. The homeowner installed the outdoor kitchen after he purchased the home and was told by the contractor that he did not need a permit. When Mr. Ranieri retained our office for proposed work during the review process, he was made aware that he would need to legalize the accessory structure of the outdoor kitchen, as well as the AC units.
I'm sorry, did you give us the side view? I think you did it, I didn't hear it on the AC.
Nope, next sentence.
She didn't do it
Getting there.
yet.
She was on the second thing.
She was ahead of.
Additionally, AC Unit B does not meet the required side yard setback of 5 feet, having a setback of 3.82 feet, for which it requires 1.18 feet of relief. The AC units that are permitted are mini-split units, which have a maximum separation distance between the exterior and interior unit that is connected to. To keep costs down, each unit was placed close to its respective interior unit. Yes. It should show 3.82 feet right below it. Christina? Yeah.
It's on here as well.
They can keep, do you want to keep that? I don't need it. Yeah, keep it. Thank you.
I would move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Lowe, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's read. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Next, we have case 15324, Oceanside, Dennis Kenner. Special exemption to maintain accessory structure shed higher than permitted exceeding horizontal maximum and with lot area occupied variance, also known as 78 Thompson Avenue.
Salvatore Koshia, permit to us, 338 Jericho Turnpike, Syosset, New York, 11791. Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Keener. who wishes to maintain a shed. The property is located in the Residence B zone. Shed has a horizontal total of 14.24 feet, where the required is 12 feet, and a height of 10.6, where the 9 foot is required. Lot coverage is 29.01%, where the required is 27.5, a minimal change. I'd also like to point out that the shed height of 1.6 over the required is only the cupola at the center of the shed. The shed's been there for 7 years without any incident, and that is the case.
Any objections from the neighbors?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't get it. What is the lot area occupied?
Required is 27.5, and we're asking for 29.01.
Any other questions from the board? It's cute. I mean, it's a very cute shed. Tell me, is there any plumbing in there? Is it
No, it's an actual
any
shed.
electric? It's a real
It's
shed?
just a shed, yeah.
Looks like a house,
It does.
little house, okay. Ms. Adams, Mrs. Adams?
The required is 12 feet, it is 14.24. Well, that could have been a typo on my speech, but I will double check. So it's, yes, 14.25.
Okay, and also on the height allowed is,
The height allowed is 9 feet, we're asking for 10.6.
we have 10.5.
No, it's,
10.5 or 10.6?
1.6 over, it's 10.6, the cupola is the centerpiece.
No, but it is 10.5
On
instead
the,
of 10.4.
on the plans it shows 10.6, but
Can't see.
Not online, it says 10.5. Yeah, 10.5.
It says 1.6 high cupola. Mine says 10.6. Mine says, here, take a look. That's 10.6.
Plot plan, it's 10.5.
So the 10.6 on the main exhibit is
Yeah.
accurate, right?
Your site plan, sorry,
Go ahead. Mr. Pellegrini,
the plot plan shows a swimming pool, but there's no permit for that, or application.
10 existing above-ground pool or pool
You see
filter.
something?
Gas
No.
heater.
sorry.
The swimming pool,
Yes.
it doesn't show on your search
Permit
sheet.
number is 23-7457.
When was it? Our search sheet doesn't show it, but it was printed in June of '23. Do you know?
Well, it was probably, you probably have the old search. The new search should show it. If you like, I can
Yeah,
request it
no, when did
updated.
you apply? When did you?
It was applied in '23 along with this application. This application is 23-7458, and the pool is,
Hold on, slow down. So this application is
23,
23.
7458. This application is
It's
23,
7458.
7458.
correct, and the pool is 23-7457.
Where do you have it? Let me see this.
I think this was not on there either, so it must have been after June.
It's possible. I mean, I can get an updated search and submit it there.
As long as you have applied for the pool. Is the pool's there, right?
The pool's there to maintain, yes.
And is it safely enclosed?
It is compliant, and upon inspection from the building department, when they do their final,
just wanna make sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, once this is done, they'll inspect all permits that are open and do it at the one
We're
time.
gonna have to do something about
Both of these applications were filed almost simultaneously.
that. Pools, we'd like them to check it when it's ready, so we know it's properly enclosed.
Go ahead.
That's,
Do you have any questions?
no.
Okay? Any other questions from the
No,
board?
sir.
I would just move, Mr. Chairman, that the hearing be closed and that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Cochia, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Next, we have case 15424, Belmore, Howard Sherman. Special exception to maintain accessory structure, roof over barbecue is higher than permitted, also known as 2659 Karen Street.
Again, for the record, Salvatore Koshia, permits are us, 338 Jericho Turnpike, Syosset, New York, 11791. Good afternoon again,
Good afternoon.
and I'm here on behalf of Mr. Sherman, who's looking to maintain a rear barbecue island with a roof over. Property is in a Residence B zone. The barbecue island with roof over has a height of 9.6, where the required is 9 feet. The barbecue island with the roof over has existed for over 15 years without incident. My client did speak to the neighbors, and nobody has any objections.
Wait. Okay. I'm done. Sorry.
Okay.
I did just get my ducks in a row. I'm done.
Any other questions from the board? If not, can I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Cochia, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You? You too.
Next, we have case 15524, Inwood. Teasby and Goldie Katz. Variances, lot area occupied, rear yard, front yard setback on Soloff Boulevard. Construct two-story addition, second-story addition, and covered porch, all attached dwelling, also known as 108 Soloff Boulevard. I apologize if I absolutely butchered your name.
How are you?
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. My name
afternoon.
is...
Would you mind taking off your hat, please?
Sure.
I can't help.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Shmuel Flaum, residing at 194 Wanzer Avenue, Inwood, New York, 11096. I am the architect applicant here on behalf of the homeowner, Tzvi and Goldie Katz. The homeowner is sitting adjacent to me. We're here seeking variances related to an alteration addition of an existing single-family dwelling currently located in a flood zone on Soloff Boulevard at the southwest corner. The homeowners have lived here for many years, and their family has grown, their needs have grown, and due to the fact that it's also in a flood zone, they can't modify the house without doing certain things like losing portions of their house that they currently are using. And so to facilitate the alteration, we are seeking variances related to that alteration addition. Specifically, the variances being sought are building area, accessory decking, front yard, and rear yard setbacks. Since it's a corner lot, this lot has 3 setbacks of 25 feet, one on each frontage facing Soloff Boulevard and Finger Island Road, and the equivalent rear yard, which is a side yard of the adjacent neighbor, also being 25 feet. Therefore, the lot becomes a little bit more difficult to develop because it is.
One moment.
Because it is a corner property, the allowable building area is typically smaller than an interior lot.
Yeah.
That,
Building area is still 27%.
right, but the area which you can build usually is narrower because of the setbacks being 25 feet on 3 of the 4 sides rather than 5 and 10, which you typically have. The lot itself is just over compliance at 6,045, but again, we're seeking a
Slow down. So the lot is 6,045.
45 square feet,
Slightly larger.
and we are seeking a total lot coverage, I think I learned my lesson here, total lot coverage of 35.60%,
Where 27 and a half is allowed.
where 27.5 is allowed, with building and 2.5 of decking. So total would be 30% with the decking. We're seeking 36 with the decking. Without the decking, it would be 32.12%.
Whoa, hold on. I first had 35.60, and then I had something about 2% for decking. So
Sorry.
Just tell me the total.
Total is
and the total is
35.60.
35.6, okay, that's total. And how much of that did you want to tell me is decking?
3.48 of that total is
48% of that. So without that, you leave out 32 or something.
32.12%.
Okay. Keep going.
So those are the two main coverage variances. The other variance relates to the front yard, and the other one to the rear yard. With regard to the front yard, we have an existing we have an existing conforming front yard on both Finger Islet and Soloff Boulevard. The one that we're seeking a variance for is on Soloff Boulevard. We're seeking 16 feet 4 1/4 inches. That's to a covered porch. To the actual house itself, it's 20 feet 4 1/4 inches, where 25 is permitted. With regard to the rear yard, which is adjacent to the side yard of the neighbor, we're seeking a side yard of
Rear yard.
what?
You said
It's a
with
rear
regard to
yard.
Rear yard, we're seeking side yard.
Sorry. With regard to the rear yard, which is next to the neighbor's side yard, we're seeking a proposed setback of 3 feet 1 1/4 inches, but that's to a deck at the first floor. There's an additional 10 feet from there to the actual house, so it's 13 feet from the property line to the two-story addition being proposed on that side.
And what do you require?
25 feet in a rear yard for a two-story. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Now we have to catch up.
That's an existing portion of the house, so that doesn't need any variance. That is before. Correct, but that requires a front yard. That requires a front yard variance. Outside. Correct, but again, it's outside the existing house, but so is the proposed two-story that's in the rear yard, because that's supposed. Correct. Not all of it, but some of it. What do you mean? So there's a portion of the two-story that's complying with 25 feet in rear, and then there's a portion that's beyond the 25 feet. Oh, what's existing, what's new? Oh. So, very simply, the portion of the house that's existing, where you're trying to differentiate between existing and proposed, the area that so there's a single hatch adjacent to the double hatch. That's the existing footprint. And hatched, correct. Double hatch, that's all correct. Mhm. It is also an addition only at the second story. It's an overhang. Not really. No, that complies, hold on. Let me just check. No, that one also is part of the variance. It's encroaching forward. It's encroaching, it is, it's hatched there's different hatches. I don't know if you, it's hatched. Sorry. Sorry? Yes, this house is located in the FEMA flood zone. This alteration would be bringing the house into FEMA compliance with regard to the work being proposed.
Wait, so you're gonna have, but you have 3 levels of usable space here.
It's not, it's a split level.
Okay, hold on, let me just. So the basement floor plan, right, has all kinds of usable space, guest rooms, bathrooms, storage rooms, kitchens, etc. The next level, which is called the first floor plan, has dining rooms, another kitchen, a den, breakfast area, bathrooms, etc. The next level, called the second floor plan, which is the third floor plan of living space, according to the layout.
So it's a split-level house existing, and the split is remaining. Currently, on the top level, we're proposing, which if, I'm not sure what drawing you're looking at, but if you have it in front of you, you'll see that that page is A102 in your drawing sets.
Hold on.
A102.
A102, okay, go ahead.
So A102 is a combined floor plan showing both halves of the split level. The portion that's shaded on the left side is half a story lower, and the portion that's in white is the second floor.
I don't have a shaded portion that I can tell.
Maybe it didn't print out, but mine is shaded. Do you have A102 there?
Yes.
Okay, do you see the stairs in between the left and right side of the house?
Yeah, one thing, so,
Unless you're looking at the existing and not the proposed.
hold on. If I'm gonna consolidate what you're saying is, you're saying what's called on your plans, the first floor and the second floor. You're saying it's some sort of overlay, right?
They shift in elevation
Right,
because,
but the section of the first floor, which is the second level,
which sheet are you looking at? It'll just be easier.
100 and 102.
Okay, so sheet A101 shows 3 bedrooms that are
I
on,
don't have a 102.
you just said 101.
I said 100 and 102. The 101 is the site.
You have A101?
Yeah, I do. No, the plans, the floor plans that are in front of me are 100, which depicts what's
102.
labeled as the basement floor plan and the first floor plan. And then I have 102, which depicts what's labeled as the second floor plan and the roof plan.
Got it.
And so if if I look
Hold on.
at, for example, if the first floor and the second floor, as they're labeled here, are supposed to be an overlay, this section's, like, the thing called the mudroom on the first floor isn't shown as a mudroom on the second floor as if it's an overlay. It's called it's a laundry room. And there seem to be 3 floors with distinct rooms.
Can I approach and help you?
Yes.
Yeah, would you help me? Where you wanna start with this?
This is not this project. You have a wrong set of drawings in front of you. This is a different project. That's why. I'm not sure why you have this drawings in here. This is 427.
Nor mine.
It's all about what we're given.
That's not this project.
When is this gate coming on? This
not.
this door?
This is not here. This is not for
This is solo.
I know why you have it, but I know why.
This is not in our jurisdiction.
No,
So why'd you guys file it
they
here?
did it. It was left there accidentally. I don't know.
Solar Boulevard.
You have the correct drawing.
Hold on, hold on.
I do?
So this is in our jurisdiction. Someone has got it here, got it in your file.
Someone left it in the way, but it was never.
Here, look.
You have the correct,
Yeah, I
It's
do
all right.
too.
you have the correct drawing. This has to be different. That's why you're getting it.
Confused.
We have plans from a different jurisdiction in the file.
Can we take a peek at the correct plans?
I don't know what else. Do we have,
Definitely have to find it somewhere.
Somebody should have the plans.
Christina, we have the wrong plans from a different jurisdiction that were left here, put in the file somehow.
Okay.
So we're going to have to go through here.
Looks promising.
This is the correct 108 Solar Boulevard. This is the.
Hold on.
Oh, it's nice.
Why do I have two? Is this your wrong ones again? You guys gave us a bunch of plans. Someone from your group.
Switch the plan.
No, this is a different project, different address.
I understand, but we don't have those plans you guys gave to us.
This is the correct.
I got it.
This one,
Yes.
Okay, let me go see.
peachy key.
no, different jurisdiction. And somehow it's our fault they're in our file. 2 sets.
Well, can we pass on that one too?
Smash this guy. No, but he's acting like it.
Okay, now I know she's getting frustrated. Yes, she was keep. I think you're looking at the existing, are you on A100? Okay, that's the existing, so those are the, you wanna look for A100, A100. It's just going to be storage, because the only thing you're allowed to have on the lowest level is storage. What? No. I think you were looking at the demolition drawings. There was existing, demolition, and proposed. Demolition plan. I don't care what it says. I know the drawings. She just doesn't look at them. That's the area that's the floor below, because it's a half a story, right? Because the house is an existing split condition and the stairs go up and down, so you have a 2-story on the right and a 2-story on the left, but they're shifted half a story apart. Correct. Yep, just storage mechanical, nothing habitable. Pull down just for mechanical access. At the highest point, it says 7.3, but that's only over the central part of the building. On the right side, it's lower. On the left side, it's much lower. Correct.
If not, can I have a motion? Now that we have the correct plans. Can I have a motion?
I'll move
Any
that
other
the hearing be closed,
questions?
the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Flum, you and your client will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's great to have the correct plans.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Next, we have case 15624, Inwood Malik Tariq. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Cedar Road, rear yard is construct two-story addition attached dwelling. Demolish existing porch, also known as 24 Bayswater Boulevard.
Construct two-story addition. Variance, lot area, front yard setback, rear yard, construct two-story addition attached. Demolish porch. Okay. Let me get this out of here.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Omar Malik, and my address is 24 Bayswater Boulevard, Inwood, New York, 11096. I'm speaking on behalf of my father, Malik Tariq, who is the applicant for case number 156 under your consideration. He has a hearing disability, so that's why I'm speaking for him, and I'll answer the questions. We are requesting variance for the front yard setback where 20 feet is required and 14.1 feet is provided. We are also requesting variance for the rear yard setback where 25 feet is required and 20.26 is provided, and this is a corner lot. My parents and sister live on the first floor of the house, and I live on the second floor with my wife and 2 daughters. As our family needs are growing and our children need bedrooms, we requested board approval for house expansion, and we need 2 bedrooms on the second floor. The existing covered porch that we already received variance for is a 1-story structure that's not designed to take additional load of a second floor. So we were proposing to demolish this porch and construct a 2-story rear addition to be used for bedroom and bathroom. We are constructing strictly within the existing approved footprint of the house and not increasing coverage of lot area. Yeah.
When you demolish the porch, the 2-story addition that you want to put on would be within the footprint of the existing porch.
Correct. The variance we are seeking today, we believe is reasonable in nature, and we don't believe it'll have any negative impact on the character of the surrounding areas of the house. We do have letters of support from our neighbors. I just unfortunately forgot them at home, but I have pictures of them, and I can provide them at your convenience. And we thank you for the opportunity to plead our case, and I'm ready to answer any questions you may have. No, I'm a pharmacist. Oh, thank you, thank you.
No, you're here for lot area occupied. I see on your chart the front yard 20 required, you're proposing 14.1, and on rear yard 25, you're proposing 20.26. I can't see on here you're allowed 27.5%. And I can't find on the chart the coverage. Oh, it just, wait, complies, yes. Oh, the chart's wrong.
So I believe the coverage that we have right now is at 35.92%.
Are you in a resident C? So you're in resident C zone, so you're allowed 35%. You currently have 35.92.
Correct.
And it looks like you're asking for 35.92, but that doesn't reconcile with the fact that our calendar says you need a,
Well, I got the variance. I think the covered area also goes up because of the porch, the shed. And I got variance for the shed back in 2010. So the covered area that I have of 35.92% is, it's still within the limits. This new proposed plan is still within those limits. It's not expanding anything. Correct.
Is it, do you have to have mother-daughter also?
It's a legal two-family, sir.
Oh, it is a legal two-family?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's not being used that way because it's not being rented out. I live on the top, my parents live on the bottom.
That's, so he doesn't charge any rent?
Yeah, there we go.
are you Tahir?
I'm sorry?
Who's Tahir?
Tahir was the architect, I believe.
Oh,
He's not here.
he's not Tahir?
He's not to here.
Okay, so you do need a lot area occupied variance, and it appears that it's just .92, 35 allowable, you're proposing 35.9. So you're gonna build a two-story addition in the exact footprint of the.
Exact.
Not larger and not smaller, the exact, so it's
Yeah,
gonna be the
exact.
same as,
Correct.
Okay.
all right, thank you. I have no further questions.
Have anything else you'd like to add?
No. Your son did a fine job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I have a motion, please?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Each of you who signed in will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you, have a nice day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstentions?
Imagine that.
Thank you. What? It's 3:25. We're going to we're going to take a 10-minute break for the court reporter so she can
Get blood back into her.
refresh her fingers, whatever you want to call it, so that she can continue on in the same way as she has been.
It is accurate. Like I said, it's not accurate.
Who are all these people? What are they here for?
Next, we have case 15724, Woodmere, Lee and Lillian Richards. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Cedar Lane, construct dwelling, rehearing case 55319, southeast corner, Park Street and Cedar Lane. Also, we have case 15824, Woodmere, Lee and Lillian Richards, variance, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Milton Place, construct dwelling, rehearing case 55419, northeast corner, Park Street and Milton Place, as well as cases 15924 through 16024, Woodmere, Lee and Lillian Richards, variance, side yard, maintained dwelling on lesser lot, rehearing case 55519, variance, side yard, maintain addition to existing detached garage on a lesser lot, rehearing case 556/19, also known as 834 Milton Place. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Please take a seat. State your name and address for the record.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Todd O'Connell, doing business at 1200 Veterans Highway, Hauppauge, New York, architect for the application.
Lee Richards, 834 Milton Place, Woodmere, New York, 11598. That's all for now. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. This is actually a rehearing case. This case was before you back in 2019, actually June 12th, 2019, and the case was approved. I would like the testimony from the original application to be admitted as part of this.
So moved.
It's so because there's no change to what we submitted originally. It's the same setback, same lot coverage. It was verified by the building department. And unfortunately, back in the day, COVID happened, things happened, the project died, and we're just trying to now finally build
I
it.
believe the only change was a slight change to the facade of the building, is
Oh,
that
just
correct?
the aesthetics, yes, the
Yeah.
aesthetics changed, but there's no request before you changed.
Can you just tell us in a sentence, I assume that the character of the neighborhood is the same as it was when we approved the matter?
Oh, well, absolutely the character. I traveled the neighborhood, I'm there all the time, and the character hasn't changed, and I think actually the new design is gonna be even nicer for the
But
neighborhood.
everything's the same, so there's no reason we wouldn't just
Absolutely.
Is that your case?
That's my case.
Any questions from the board? If not, can I have a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would just move that the hearing be closed. The matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Connell, you and your clients and anyone else who signed in on the matter will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered.
Absolutely, thank you so
Thank you, have
much.
a nice day,
All in
folks.
favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Why didn't,
Thank God you have children.
There you go.
Joey, why don't we ask them why they didn't come in and ask for this?
Next, we have case 16124, East Meadow, White Diamond Lounge Incorporated. Variance in off-street parking, proposed bar/restaurant in existing building, also known as 2047 through 2085 Hempstead Turnpike.
New case. No, new case.
Good morning, Chairman Regano, members of the board. On behalf of the applicant, Stelios E. Karatsias with the law firm of Son Ward, Braff Koblenz, Kashignano, PLLC, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Suite 601, Uniondale, New York, 11553. With me today is Mr. Siddharth Manyal. He is the owner and applicant of the business for this leased space and premises. Patrick Latortu, architect of PHLA, as well as Sean P. Mulryan, traffic expert of Mulryan Engineering, PC.
Prior to beginning my formal presentation, we would like to express our appreciation to the board for their attention and courtesy to the applicant's proposed use and variance requested therewith. At this time, I would also like to submit green card receipts in connection with the mailing of the notice of public hearing for this application.
We'll accept those in evidence.
Thank you, Chairman. To provide the board with a brief background, the subject property is located at, can I be heard well enough?
It would be preferable if you could speak a little louder and a little slower, so she can take it down and we can.
Absolutely. Is this better?
Yes.
Great. To provide the board with a brief background, in the subject property is located at 2049 through 2081 Hempstead Turnpike, East Meadow, New York, 11554, also known on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 45, Blocks 339, Lots 38, 40, and 43. The subject property consists of a small shopping center with approximately 16 tenants, one of which is the applicant. Mr. Munoz occupies 3 storefronts at the subject property for what has been used and currently used as a hookah smoking lounge. More specifically,
Say that again, I missed it.
he's using, his 3 storefronts are being occupied as a hookah smoking lounge.
That's what's there now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is going to be in the same location?
I'm sorry, sir.
Is this proposal in the same location?
Well, the proposed use is going to be changing.
Okay, so the hookah lounge didn't make it?
Well, he's choosing to change the type of use.
Okay, whatever. The
Okay.
hookah lounge is gonna turn into this if it's approved.
Yes.
I just wanted
Yes,
to...
board member.
And in the same size of the space.
Yes.
Hookah lounge
Member
currently
D'Amato.
comprises those 3 sections, and that would be the proposal for this bar.
So currently, the hookah lounge comprises of 2 of the storefronts. One of the storefronts became vacant some time ago, in which Mr. Munoz
So it's
entered into.
not the same size, it's larger.
It's going to be larger, in which Mr. Munoz occupied that space, and he intends to renovate to entertain the new proposal to the board, which will be a restaurant and bar.
Okay, 2 quick questions. Number 1, is the parking calculation done for the whole mall at the whole strip at once, or how was the parking calculation done?
Yeah, so the parking calculations were done in accordance with Town Code, Building Zoning Ordinance, and they comprise of the entire subject property, the uses therewith, and the particular lot coverage and what's
All right,
required.
so how many did the building department say you needed off-site?
So in total, the parking calculations call for 154 spaces.
Okay.
111 are provided. There was a previous Board of Zoning Appeals grant in 2015, and I can give you the date in a minute if you don't mind.
We don't need the exact date, but go ahead.
Alrighty. And that grant permitted for the deficiency of 35 parking spaces and stalls.
Okay, and then the so regardless of the fact that he's gonna take 3 spots, what was in the spot before, that spot he wants to take over, what was the business?
It was a Subway sandwich shop.
Okay, so the calculation for that space is already in,
It's already been
it's been functioning with the same technical need,
Well-
because his use won't increase the need from the Subway, it'll be the same, right?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that one more time?
Whatever number of spots the Subway shop needed,
Yes.
did they use, is his use require more than a Subway use?
It does.
Oh, it does, okay.
It does,
Oh,
because that's
the Sub-
considered fast food takeout type of use, and it's categorized as retail instead of restaurant, which is
Because
based
he had
upon.
less than 12 seats in the Subway,
Yes,
and restaurant is 1 per 3 chairs or something.
yes.
Okay, so is the 154 the current need,
That's the current need.
reflecting him using 3 spots instead of the Subway?
Exactly. It's 154 reflecting the current need and the proposal for the bar restaurant, which is a principal permitted use within that business district.
Okay, keep going, thank you.
Thank you. So just to backtrack slightly, Mr. Munoz, he occupies more specifically storefronts 249 through 251 at the subject property. The subject property consists of a lot area of 69,889 square feet, where there's a lot area coverage of 20,609 square feet. And his proposed space, including that Subway portion, is approximately 2,760 square feet. As mentioned earlier in our presentation right now. The subject property did appear before the Board of Appeals on several occasions. One was on or about the year 2007, where it initially received its approval as a special exception, a special use permit for the hookah lounge itself. That hookah lounge was initially named Casbah Hookah Lounge, and it reappeared before the board by notice of decision dated August 14th, 2015, to maintain that hookah lounge use, as well as to request a similar like variance that is requested here today, where it requested a variance in off-street parking. The board at that time granted a deficiency of 35 parking stalls unanimously. Shortly after the 2015 grant, my client, the applicant, Mr. Munyal, purchased the hookah lounge from the previous owner in 2017, in which he renamed the establishment Casbah Hookah Lounge 2.0. You know, at that particular time, because the board and the town of Hempstead had very few types of uses within its township, it was an opportunity for economic advancement and to benefit from this venture economically. However, it was actually never my client's intended business use. He's never had a passion for it, and it was just purely a great venture at that time. Shortly after, the pandemic ended up hitting us and striking the world, in which his business took a severe hit and was affected deeply, as his whole business model for a hookah lounge was the gathering of friends and people to join and enjoy that type of recreational use. But it also provided an opportunity for him to look at his business and to change tracks and trajectory to something he wanted to do, which was the establishment of a restaurant. He's always had a passion for it. It's always something that holds dear to him, and it's something that he is now looking forward to present to the board and do today as a principal use.
What kind of a restaurant?
So that's unique in itself, Chairman Regano. You know, as we've all heard, we've heard of fusion-style restaurants. We've heard of Tex-Mex. We heard of Asian fusion, Mediterranean fusion. This is actually a goal of his to try something extremely different. As the food industry likes to call it, it's called a chaos menu, or a menu that encompasses so many different ethnic cuisines or ethnic cultures. So it's a matter of embracing American cuisine, Spanish, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Asian, and it's still a work in progress on the menu because it does take careful thought and consideration, but it's something he's looking to embrace in the community as a whole, to be more so, I guess, a pioneer within Nassau County and specifically the town, to have a restaurant that is not commonly heard of with that many cuisines or influences. And more so, the applicant's desire here is to provide a use to the neighborhood and the surrounding districts, or zoning districts rather, that is something that's more palatable, for lack of a better word. Something that the community can welcome and embrace compared to the hookah lounge that, you know, wasn't the most desirable type of use in this vicinity. To be a little bit more in detail, and as we alluded to earlier, the zoning calculations really call for here a parking count of 154 spaces, 111 are provided, 35 were previously granted. The current increase or deficiency is in the 6 additional parking stalls, and that's the relief that we're seeking here today for a variance in off-street parking.
I think it's 40, the numbers on the paper slightly.
43.
It ends up 6, but on the papers, the materials indicate there's 43 deficiency, the prior grant of 37, which does look a 6 shortage.
Okay.
Either way, just
Yeah.
for the record.
Thank you. My apologies to Board Member D'Amato. Thank you for that clarification. I do have with me today, as mentioned earlier, Sean P. Mulryan. He is the traffic expert. If the board would like to hear any type of comments from the traffic report and study, he is here today to testify to that.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I did, you know, we did send a notice of public mailing. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to speak to them prior to today's hearing, but in this short interim break,
all right.
we did have an opportunity to discuss. I encouraged their testimony, and I do know that the applicant is very open to help hear any concerns they have, mitigate any concerns, and try to work with them. After all, he would be more than happy and welcome them as his patrons one day if the restaurant moves forward. He would love to serve them and their families, as that's the goal he's trying to move toward. So at this time, I'd like to call up Sean P. Mulryan.
Mr. Mulryan, you have previously been qualified by this board as an expert witness for traffic, have you not? And you've testified before this board as an expert witness on numerous occasions. Since the last time you were qualified and since the last time you testified as an expert witness before this board, have any of your qualifications changed? So we will then approve you as an expert witness for the purpose of traffic. Folks, the fact that we approve Mr. Mulryan as an expert witness merely allows him to testify about these things. We give our own weight to his testimony. Right? Go ahead, Mr. Mulryan.
Thank you very much, Chairman. We prepared and particularly doing a parking analysis of the subject site, counts at the location. And again, this is an existing facility that was previously developed as a picnic lounge and a storefront that was a Subway restaurant. Again, the Subway restaurant is considered retail based on the number of seats. The proposal before the board today is to consider the entire 3 storefronts as a restaurant, requiring a total of 154 parking spaces for the overall center. The overall center currently requires 111 parking spaces. Since the application was previously before the board, there has been some modifications to the handicap parking. There has also been a crosswalk that has been installed to allow pedestrian access from the sidewalk to the subject property. So again, the subject site provides 111 parking spaces and 154 required. The parking study that we prepared looked at numerous timeframes, including lunch and dinner with the timeframes associated with the restaurant. We found that throughout our analysis, there was plenty of parking on the subject site. The subject site is located on Hempstead Turnpike, which is a busy state highway. It is shown on the aerial to my right and my left. The subject site is located into a self-storage facility and additional retail to west. Across the street is again a significant amount of retail usage, which is typical of the type of development along the stretch of Hempstead. Based on our study of the subject site and previous experience with the board, we believe that the parking provided on the subject site is sufficient to accommodate the proposed restaurant. There are other restaurant uses within the center, pizzerias, jams, food, that type of use. This would be more of a sit-down restaurant, which would then have a time period later in the evening when some of the other stores in the center would be closed. Again, this is an existing hookah lounge and previously Subway restaurant. The applicant is looking to combine those 2 storefronts, creating a sit-down restaurant that we believe would be a benefit to the community as opposed to the existing storefronts.
Right. So your professional opinion is that the variance is appropriate, not because there's alternative parking slots, but because the site itself, given the usages there and the proposed usage combined, that the site itself will have enough spots for for its needs. In other words, you're not saying, there's a municipal lot, there's street parking, and we can go in these places. You're telling us that it's your opinion that even if there were no parking anywhere else in the area, that the site itself will be able to hold the needs.
Correct. Not only for the existing uses, obviously, there are multiple storefronts within the existing
And that's without regard to any non-simultaneous argument either. I'm saying if all the businesses are open there, the way it plays out is that still everyone who wants to go there can park on the site. Okay. And, okay. guess, meet all the other requirements? Like, do you have front yard setback needs?
Anything that may simply unlawful previously existing, so we were not forced for variances to those spaces. Again, this center has been in operation for numerous years. There is an action within the business center, so we are looking to rebrandish, if you will, three storefronts within a larger strip center, which is typical of many applications that have been before the board previously. This is not going to change the character of the neighborhood, and we are intending to make a larger retail center, similar to the large retail center.
Do you know if the prior variance granted relief for the stall size? It doesn't look like the backup would need relief, but I can't tell the stall size because they don't have the numbers on them.
Based upon our research and the previous decisions, it doesn't seem to indicate any type of variance for the size or length and width of the stalls.
Are the stalls 9 by 18, Mr. Mulryan, do you know? Also, I noticed that the calculation yields a need for 8 handicaps. I see 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there relief being sought here for that?
There's no additional relief sought here today for the handicap stalls. The previous grant did, I believe,
Three spot handicap grant?
yes, and as I stated earlier, and you corrected me, Board Member D'Amato, when I said 35 stalls were granted, it seems that in addition to 2 stalls that were previously approved, there is now 5 stalls present when I believe there was only 4 that were required to be present.
What I'm asking you is, let me see, I saw one of the calculations that said that 5% of the total parking spaces provided to be used for handicap. 154, 5% is 8 handicaps. Total handicaps provided 5. So I just want to make sure, you're not asking for that relief. If you're not, we'll make sure we put that in there. And I'm a little concerned since you said that relief wasn't granted, as far as you know, prior to this. So I'm not sure how that's going to.
So prior in the 2015 grant, a variance for 4 handicap spaces was. For 4 handicap
Okay, then it
spaces.
is in the prior
Yes.
grant.
And on site, like Mr. Sean Mulryan testified to, there seemed to have been some alterations where a 5th was created at some point in time.
Yeah, I see 5, and if you got a 4 grant, then you got over the 8.
Exactly.
Is this site plan that's before us today the same site plan that the board granted in the hookah lounge?
This site plan has been altered to show the additional 5th handicap space as well as the crosswalk, but other than that, to my knowledge, there has not been any additional site plan
So
changes
this-
to landscaping, buffering,
Right,
sidewalks,
okay.
structure, footprint of the building of that nature. No.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes your presentation.
Yes, and just, I'd just like to also reiterate that, the request of variance will not provide an undesirable change within the character of the neighborhood, as the subject property proposed is on a major commercial and retail corridor on Hempstead Turnpike. It's in line with the proposed use is in line with many similar-like uses in the vicinity. There's no other means than the requested variance for the applicant to achieve the benefits sought, as the property is burdened by the parking space and the size of it, and the structure on site. The requested variance is not substantial in nature, in light of the board's previous variance approval, as well as the minimum increase to 6 parking stalls. And the proposed variance will not have an adverse impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood, as noticed, because these types of uses are very prevalent within that neighborhood. And lastly, it is of our belief that the requested variance is de minimis in nature in light of the types of uses that the structure can offer. I thank you and the board for your time, and if there are any other further questions, I'd be more than happy to address. Mr. Muniel himself will be more than happy to address
Okay.
as well.
So, no, go ahead.
I have one quick other question, I think. So on the red, the calculation that's written in red that was done by
That was done by Mr.
Montemarano,
Yes.
that indicates the existing occupancy 87, proposed 133. The previous grant required 37, the new grant is 47, increase of 10. when I look on the chart that's filled out by whoever created this, your group, the restaurant indicates that it has one space per 100 square feet, or one per 3 occupants, whichever is greater, and one per 4 employees. It gives the square footage, and it says required parking is 47. Net parking existing was, existing requirement was 27, and the net increase is 20.
Yes, I could provide a bit more clarity on that.
Yeah, because it doesn't
This-
reconcile.
So this, before being presented before the board today and on the agenda, there was a little bit of back and forth with the building department, specifically Mr. Montemurano, who was the building inspector of this application. So the way it was done was, if we look at that chart to your left, Board Member D'Amato, it shows parking required for all uses on site. That total number comes out to 154 spaces. Then as you move to the next row, or column rather, excuse me, it says parking existing 27, correct? Okay, that is what was, out of the entire parking lot, was more or less dedicated to the hookah lounge itself. And then the net increase shows with the proposed use that, along with the 27 that's been somewhat dedicated by the landowner, they're deficient by 20 spaces.
Right,
And
but
that-
if the amount of parking dedicated to you was 27, and you now need 47.
It's an
then-
increase of
Then
20.
your needs went up by 20, then how did the parking requirement only go up by 10?
So I'll explain that in a minute. And so based upon, like I said, the town code, it proposes one parking stall per every 100 square feet of space, as well as one parking stall per 3 occupants, whichever is the greater. So the greater comes out to, for the number of patrons in proposed seating, 133 seats divided by 3 would equal to 45 parking stalls. And then with the number of employees, it becomes an additional 2 parking stalls. That equals 47. Now, because the previous, the whole site as a whole only requires 154, and 111 are proposed, that's a 43 parking stall deficiency. And the previous grant was for 37.
But if your
So-
needs go up by 20, how does the parking
Well,
need
because over the course of time, as uses have come and gone at this subject property, the parking calculations from the initial grant have changed. And the parking calculations for the uses on site have fluctuated over the years. And even though the applicant's use only is increasing by 20 spaces, the other uses have decreased in their required spacing as well. So it kind of creates an off-balancing and a setting off of the increase in spaces. That's why, after careful, and when I mean careful examination and months upon months of review with the building department, it was determined on our end, as well as the building department's end, that it is only a 6 parking stall increase from the previous grant in 2015.
Even Mr. Montemurano said it's a 10 increase. 10 additional spaces required. So one says 20 more, one says 10 more.
We'll take 15.
Okay. All right, let's keep going.
Based upon the conversations with Mr. Montemurano, it was determined that it was only a 6 parking stall increase.
We have some people here in opposition who would like to go first.
Yes, sir.
Folks? Not all at once, just one at a time.
Name is Carol Gray. The address is 2084 Irma Drive, East Meadow.
There's one that says it's 6.
I live behind the shopping center and feel that there will not be enough parking back there if they want 133 patrons. And they have how many spaces? 27 allotted to them. And they're gonna have 133 patrons. Where are these people gonna park? On our street, where they used to park quite a bit. We have restricted parking, permit parking until 7 p.m. So
these people won't be able to park for that restaurant on our street before 7 o'clock. And there's too much traffic going through. It's a cut-through from Hempstead Turnpike to Carmen Avenue is a total cut-through for people who want to pass the light at Carmen Avenue and Hempstead Turnpike. So they cut through our street. When there are cars parked on both sides of the street, no one can get through. They have to go one at a time. The houses that are at the back of the Meadowbrook Square Shopping Center are very close to the building. And there's going to be noise pollution, music. We'd like to know what kind of music. Is it a DJ? Is it live music?
Thank you. That's something we were gonna get to, but trash collection, deliveries, music, hours, those things, we're gonna need from you. If you wanna let him give us some of that. You wanna tell us about the music now?
Can I just mention something about the trash? That the trash at this parking center is not picked up often enough. It's overflowing out onto the sidewalk. And so now you're gonna add 133 other people in a restaurant with more garbage, and they don't have enough.
What was,
The 87, yes. Yes, that is information the landowner has more specifically. All the tenants within the space do utilize that refuse. Now, whether or not it's a private cart or a town cart, I unfortunately do not have that answer for the board today. I am under the assumption though that it is more likely a private cart, if any, because it's so tucked away in the back portion of the property. Additionally, in regards to deliveries, the applicant. Yes.
Two in the morning. 2 in the morning.
Absolutely. Now, in regards to the music, my client intends to fully renovate the space with inside because it's obviously not structured in a manner for a restaurant or even the bar portion of that restaurant. And he intends to put proper insulation, soundproofing, and barriers to prevent and to mitigate any type of excess noise that will be exiting the space. No, absolutely not. So, I mean, whatever music will be present will be music that's comfortable for the ear during dining sessions. Maybe once in a while, it has not yet been determined. Maybe he will have live music. It's, that's something. Exactly. Okay, yes. And on top of it, more so in the structure and manner of the layout of the restaurant, we'll have the rear portion, which is most closely in vicinity to the residence, towards the rear of the leased space. And that too will be properly monitored. The applicant has advised me that he's going to be posting signs within the workspace to have his employees mitigate any type of sound or disturbance. If, for example, an employee would like to go into the rear of the property for a break, they will have to face a series of policies to have the door closed behind them, to mitigate noise in respect of the neighbors. Okay. Well, there would be no access for the patrons because they would have to enter through the kitchen to get to that rear exit. So for emergency purposes, that's why it's mainly there. but the patrons wouldn't be allowed in that area just for pure leisurely purposes. I'm sorry? Or for ventilation, yes. That will be within the policies as well, to address those concerns. And I just wanted to point out one thing, Board Member D'Amato, you asked about deliveries. The deliveries will be done through the rear of the property, as many are done currently on that space. The standard size vans, maybe a box truck here and there, depending on the size of. No, not for my client's use. Maybe for another use on site. We can't attest to that.
We're only concerned about your client right now.
How many, so when you say standard, I think of a box truck as box truck.
Well, the box truck and maybe potentially a standard size van.
Okay, but so.
Because some deliveries are done, some are refrigerated vans nowadays.
Okay, but what about those giant beer trucks? Those are almost tractor trailers, some of them. None of those I take it. So nothing bigger than a standard box truck.
Yes,
And how often do we think we're gonna need those along with whatever food style trucks?
I mean, anticipation right now, it can fluctuate due to the flow of business and depending on how much traffic is actually circulating through the restaurant, but I wouldn't anticipate. Maybe once a week, maybe twice at
For
most.
all the beverages and all the food?
Yes, ma'am.
Depends on
And
the
at this point in
volume.
time, it's also a little too early to tell, unfortunately,
Depends on
simply because
volume.
the establishment hasn't been open and the fluctuation of business isn't something that's been able to be monitored at this
Yeah,
point in
but I'm
time.
sure he's looked at other businesses and get some idea of. a
That's
similar
why
size
at most, I feel like it would most likely be comfortable to say maybe 2 deliveries throughout the week. No, not at all. So hours of operation, I'll let Mr. Munyal testify to that. Okay.
I think I hit it all. I think I hit everything I wanted to say.
Trash.
The trash?
Frequency of the trash, the noise that concerns you.
How about rodents?
The music,
Music, which is noise.
and what time are they gonna be open until 4 o'clock in
Hours.
the
We're gonna-
morning?
He's
We'll
gonna
get
give us
to
the
that.
hours of operation,
Yeah,
but I wanted to let you finish. Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Hours?
Next.
Hours. Can we get hours
Yes,
right
absolutely,
now?
Chairman. So after speaking with Mr. Munyal, I'll just testify to it in my presentation. The intended use at this point is going to be from 1 PM to 4 PM, specifically for takeout purposes. 4 PM to 11:30 PM, where 11:30 PM will be the last seating for dining purposes. And then from, yeah.
Usually dining closes at 10.
11:30.
Well, you-
Sidewalks get rolled up at about 9 o'clock.
I'm sorry, Chairman?
No, but most restaurants.
I'd be sleeping by then.
closes at 10. Okay,
Well, he's trying to accommodate a different type of, and like I said, he's trying to make this a more encompassing experience for residents. And, depending on how late somebody works, some people, unfortunately nowadays, ever since the COVID pandemic, a lot of people move to Long Island and still work in the city. Some of them have a later commute coming home. So he's trying to take into consideration all types of residents' needs. And that's why he's having a later schedule. Majority of places open up earlier than 1 PM to serve
Takeout.
patrons for a restaurant, and he's doing it at 1.
1 to 4 is takeout, 4 to 11:30 is dining.
Yes, and then because there is a small bar portion or seating area to accommodate patrons, maybe after an evening dinner, they would like to stick around and have a drink or two. So that's intended from 11:30 to 3. And,
How many days a week?
I'm sorry, sir,
How many days a week? 11:30 to 3?
for that time period?
Yeah. You're gonna do it Friday, Saturday.
More specifically, it would be the weekend period, maybe even a Thursday evening, so Thursday to Saturday night. Sunday, that might be closing slightly early.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You're planning 11:30 p.m.
And Mr. Yes, and Mr. Munyal just told me during the weekdays, with the exception of obviously Thursday, Friday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he'd be willing to close the establishment at midnight.
What
Which
about,
would be a time to allow the final tables to finish their meal and then go home and have them time to clean. I'm sorry?
Does that include Sundays?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Is he anticipating having any
what
kind
about
of,
restaurants at all?
like a catering kind of space?
Depending on whether or not a particular patron would like to have the restaurant reserved for a birthday celebration or any type of baby shower, maybe a small engagement party, those are potential catering, within-house catering options or events that might be held at the facility, at the space.
No,
Similar to like and many other restaurants within the area and within Nassau County and Suffolk County in general.
Was there, how long was it operated as a hookah lounge?
So the initial grant was on or about the year 2007, and then once again, it came back to the board for a maintain in 2015.
How long did your
With the
client
grants.
operate it?
He actually took possession of it in 2017.
Okay.
And then once again, shortly after the pandemic hit, and he was ceased from doing any type of business
All right.
operation.
When it was being operated as a hookah lounge, was there any police activity? Were there any problems of note?
So from my knowledge, after speaking to several of the people here today to testify, there were, from their future testimony, because they haven't done it yet, they did contact the local police department in regards to noise violation or excess noise. But I'd like to remind the
Right,
board,
so noise, anything else?
to my knowledge, nothing else. I would like to remind the board, though, that it is a completely different type of use. He's trying to transition out of that use. He wants to, once again, have a use that is permitted within the zoning district and is intended to have the people here before us today, as well as other residents, come and be patrons of his establishment. And he wants to mitigate any type of disturbance that his new use
I
might
just wanted
cause.
to have a feel for,
Yes, absolutely.
okay,
Hi, my name is Louise Polito. I live at 2072 Irma Drive. I'm also behind the shopping center. We've had numerous issues with the shopping center with noise. There's rats,
can you speak up a little?
noise, rats, hangouts in the back there. Years ago, we had to have the cops came because there was drug stuff going on back there.
Fats back there.
And I feel they're saying that the parking, but what's gonna happen is there's not gonna be parking in the front, so what they're gonna do is park behind us, which is the alleyway, which we've had in the past, with the radios blasting, the cars roaring up during the middle of the night.
Wait, when you say alleyway, are you talking about on the subject premises, but
It's-
in the back? There's
It's
that
in the
little-
back, right,
But
that's
it's
where
not it's not a town road or something, it's on the premises?
it's on the premises, that's where the deliveries and all of that are. So it comes through the back all the time, all the deliveries come out. And a lot of the traffic goes that way if they can't go around the other way. So we know that there's gonna be parking, we've had it before, and it's noisy. We all have families, we wanna live quietly, we don't want someone out there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning roaring their engine or blasting their, radios. We did away with the parking during the day because of Nassau County, the hospital, and now we're facing it at night. When we come home, where are we parking? And they're saying there's ample parking. Well, I've been around the corner there when they have the karate class, and there's probably maybe 15 spaces left. What's gonna happen then? Where are those cars gonna go? And the karate class is at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, when their business will be in practice. So where are all of those guys going? How is that ample parking? They're gonna be coming around to our areas. And we do have a very tight street, and there's cars on both sides. I can tell you probably at least 5 or 6 neighbors have all had their mirrors taken off because of how tight it is. We have garbage from all the stores around the corner there, and there's 4 restaurants there now. So it's more people going to get food, more people eating out. So I don't see how they think that they're gonna have enough parking spaces in that area without it overflowing to us. We have the diner across the street, which also gets packed, and they come down Irma Drive and park. I mean,
So it's parking and traffic.
parking,
And
traffic, the noise, yes, yes.
Thank
We
you.
don't object to a restaurant, but not a lounge that's gonna be open until 4 o'clock in the morning. Not
Three.
back-to-back with houses back there. It's not fair to us.
Okay, thank you. Next?
Chairman, if I may just point out one thing.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I would just like to point out that, you know, the resident, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, you know, she indicated several other concerns with parking due to other properties in other vicinities. Unfortunately, we can't control the parking conditions that those facilities or other, you know, properties generate. Additionally, in regards to the rear of the property where you do see those parking spaces or stalls, those are primarily designated for employee parking for each of the establishments within the shopping center. And lastly, in regards to the noise, you know, like I said, the previous use did generate a significant amount of noise. The applicant is not denying that. However, to sit there and to attribute all noise on the property to my client is, it's slightly unfair simply because there are many other uses on site. There are several other restaurants on site. And depending on late hours of the evening, this is an unsecured property. There's no security guards, there's no gate to enter this facility, and it is a pretty open space surrounding the property, and there's no way to determine whether or not any person utilizing that property is a patron of my client
Right,
or...
but that doesn't mean we don't want to solve the issue.
Of course, no,
How
of course.
late
That's
was-
why he's willing to mitigate with everything within his means and power by posting policies, putting soundproof walls and insulation and everything he could, as well as having an appropriate level of music that are common in restaurants that also are common with bars as to service their patrons.
How late was the hookah lounge open?
The previous grant, I believe,
Not the grant, how long?
the previous grant came with a set of conditions, and I believe it was till 3 a.m. as well.
Okay, is there lighting back there? And it seems to me that one of the things that might take away some of the incentive for people to hang out back there is, do you have lighting on the back of at least your structure? Not into the neighborhood, but
To my knowledge, whatever lighting is on site is the lighting that's been attached to the building by the landowner in its construction. I do not know at this time if there's additional lighting in the rear of the building.
Okay. Madam?
Every storefront, based upon what Mr. Munyal must have said, is that every storefront has a small domed light on top of it for
In the
the
rear?
emergency
In the
exit,
rear?
yes.
And can you fit, I can't tell by looking at it, and there's no numbers.
Yeah.
If I was driving in the rear there, the one end of it, the west,
Looks like
the
rather
western
narrow.
side, looks like it's pretty tight fit. Can a car fit through there?
Absolutely. I've visited the property myself on several occasions. I know Mr. Mulrine in his report and his analysis of the property, he's visited as well. And I was able to, I have an SUV, so I was able to fit it around the rear of the building and all corners of it as well.
That's too bad.
And apparently 2 cars with the parking in the rear as well allows it for a pass-through of vehicles. It's wide enough for at least 2 cars in the rear of the building and on the corners. Especially because there's
I
parking.
was more concerned about the end, if you could get through that.
The corners, are you talking about the top left and top right corners?
Top left,
Talking about
west
the
side.
West end of the building.
Yes, there's enough clearance for vehicles to pass in and out of those corners.
Doesn't look like it. All right, ma'am? I thought she was sworn.
My name is Christina Rivera. I live at 2054 Irma Drive. I live basically right
Right
behind
behind.
the hookah bar. First, I'd like to address the parking issues and kind of add on to what my neighbor said here. That parking lot also floods tremendously during rain, which takes up about half of the parking lot spaces out. So that is also a consideration. Also, we pay for the permit that we use to park on our street. And currently, if we have any issues with people parking there who aren't supposed to, I haven't had anyone able to enforce it. So that's another concern of mine with people parking there without a permit and who is going to enforce it.
Who put up the sign? Who issues your permit? Town?
The town, but when I've called the town, no one ever comes. And usually they tell me to call the cops.
Have you done that?
Yes, I have.
And
No one came.
they just don't come at all?
People did not come for that complaint.
Parking permit. After 7 PM. Mhm. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Also, as my neighbor also discussed, we have a lot of cut-through traffic on that street. Specifically concerning me would be people coming in the opposite direction because there's no way to come in. They'll cut down our street, come around just to go miss the light, to go right to that bar. We have a lot of that already going on for people going into that strip mall, so that's just another concern. And then to address the noise, yes, that establishment was open when we moved into the community in 2010. We never had a noise issue until a few years into living there. We didn't make any complaints right away, but then when I had a newborn, it became a serious issue for us, and we called constantly. We would call almost every night they were open, and what would happen is the cops would come, 2 hours later, the music would jack right back up, and we'd have to call again. And that door was always propped open in the back. There were cars back there, a lot. I'm assuming employee cars coming, letting people in that back door. It was like kind of like a backdoor entrance that they used for, I don't know for what, but we saw many people late at night going in that back door. I don't think so, no. Back there with their music blasting, back there smoking, back there drinking, back there hanging out. So I personally, of course, would prefer it be a restaurant instead of a hookah bar because that's open so late. But seeing that proposal makes me a little bit concerned.
Did the hookah bar serve alcohol?
It was merely beer and wine. They had a standard liquor license for beer and wine. They didn't serve any hard alcohol.
Food?
Maybe a few snacks or whatnot. Maybe some small snacks, finger food, nothing of substantial kitchen use.
Is that it, ma'am?
So
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
did the hookah bar then need special ventilation?
Yes, absolutely. Due to the use of as a hookah lounge, they did have special ventilation for the smoke to exit the property.
Will that be left intact with this proposal? I mean, a bar has, obviously there's not that much smoke.
I don't think
A
you
bar
can,
shouldn't have, you're not even allowed to
you
smoke.
can't smoke in a bar.
No.
You're not allowed to smoke
You're not
in a
allowed to
bar.
smoke in a
Like
bar.
the kitchen has,
Well, those are going to have standard ventilation for the cooking hardware and equipment. But the ventilation, I don't believe he has any desire to remove it. Simply
Okay.
because he's going to design his decor around addressing that ventilation that's in the ceiling. But the bar does not call for smoking. You're not allowed to smoke indoors.
Right,
And once,
no, I was
once,
thinking
yeah, and
the
once,
general cooking and
and mainly once the hookah lounge ceases to exist, there's not going to be any smoking on site anyway, indoors, for the ventilation purposes.
Hookah bar still goes out to smoke, that's for sure.
Well, it's outdoors, yes, Chairman, Better Member D'Amato.
And that's like one of the things, we get a lot of that. They come in back, out the back door, stand there, smoke, all of a sudden someone bring their beer and there's
yes.
4 of them out there.
Once again, but like I mentioned earlier, and I'm sorry to reiterate, they would have to access through the kitchen to get to the rear, which would be an issue. And, that's going to be designed solely for the staff to utilize the kitchen, potentially the rear door for deliveries, as well as an emergency exit for, in the worst case scenario of a fire or any type of emergency situation.
And the basement area is solely going to be for storage?
Yes.
I mean, it does look like there's another door out the back. I can't tell, but above the one set of stairs that doesn't include the kitchen.
So there will be a total of 2 doors in the rear of the property, simply because it's acquiring also the subway space, which has its own door, and then the hookah, the newly proposed restaurant will have its own door as well. So there'll be a total of 2.
Right, but I'm just saying, there's a door that goes to the back that is not a kitchen door. In other words, you can still go out and back like we're talking about.
And that can be used solely for emergency exit.
Of course you can, but I'm
Yes.
just pointing out that
Yes.
it's not just a fail-safe that the kitchen's there.
Okay, oh, we have someone else. Yes, sir.
Sir. Jason Hargraves, 2054 Irma Drive. There is no light in the back of this establishment. It's pitch black all the time. They do hang out in the back constantly. It now has closed, so the noise is gone. Now we know why. It echoes back there. From my house to the back of the building is roughly about 60 to 70 feet. Okay, I know it's 40 feet, but you got decibels that are echoing, and it's loud. Like my wife just said, I have a newborn. I was up 3-4 times a night trying to put him back to sleep. That's the biggest concern, is really the noise. Parking. No one's going to go across the street to someone else's parking lot to park. There's a brand new restaurant that's there, a restaurant right next to it, Mad Chicken. So, and then now you own another restaurant. So I don't know if that's going to even be.
Which place did Mad Chicken take over, the dental or the hair salon?
I believe it was a pizza place.
It's across,
No,
It's
may I clarify
across
for the board?
the street.
It was Mille Grazie, I believe is what it was called. It was a pizzeria that closed down, and
Is
a
it
Colum-
4 shops away from this one?
They had that 3 or
and a
4.
Colombian restaurant, Spanish cuisine took place. To be quite frank, I don't know the purposes or their floor plan or layout, so I don't know if they had an application before the board. To my knowledge, they did not. And I will tell you,
just want to know if the
I will
restaurant
tell you
went where
right
there was
now.
a restaurant or a restaurant went when there was retail.
So if you look at the site plan, there are numbered tenant spaces. The new Colombian restaurant is space 9 and 10. It was once a pizzeria, Italian-style restaurant. Sit down. It's in front of
Is it
the,
the one that says pizzeria, it's 4
Yes.
floors down?
yes,
That was a
yes,
pizzeria
yes,
and
yes,
now
9
it's
and 10,
It's not open
Okay,
just yet,
so it's
but
restaurant to restaurant, so it doesn't change the parking, that's all I wanted to know.
yes.
my neighbor also said that there was, not too long ago, she was here at another hearing saying that in the back of the building, there's no parking or anything allowed at all.
Who said that?
She was at another hearing. She just told me this. She wants to come back up and explain.
No, how long ago was this approximately?
It was a few years ago.
Okay.
They were asking for a variance in the same parking lot. And, there were complaints about, the parking, and they made a ruling and said that there were no cars parked behind the shopping center because there was too much noise. They were waking up all the neighbors, and they would go out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and, get in their car.
Chairman Regano, as Mr. Sean Mulryan testified in his expert testimony, based upon the time usage of many uses on site, as well as the parking provided, it seems that this property and this proposed use will be able to justify the means of the number of patrons and spaces provided. Additionally, I unfortunately cannot opine on what the resident is speaking, but there is parking stalls in the rear of the building, once again, as previously mentioned, to basically accommodate employees of many of the other tenants, including my client's tenant
Do
space.
you remember what kind of business it was in the rear? I want to look it up for, not this moment, but. And could you safely say it was within the last 4 years or within the last 3?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Have anything else to add, sir?
Once again, we'd like to thank the board for their time. I know this took a significant amount of the board's time tonight, and, you know, once again, this is a permitted use within the zoning district. We hope that our expert testimony, as well as testimony from Mr. Munyal and myself, express the concerns and the mitigation that he would like to do for the residents and make this a place that's more open to the community to interact with, join, and become patrons of their own. Thank you again, and we respectfully request the granting of this variance for off-street parking.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone here who has signed in will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you all for coming, being patient, and contributing. Long day, safe home.
Well, Board Member D'Amato, just out of curiosity, because it was placed on the decision calendar, in regards to the questions in regards to the carting and refuse, would you just like me to submit a letter to the Board of Zoning Appeals Office?
Yeah, and if you wait a second, I'll tell you what we want included.
Thank you very much.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Thank you all for coming. Oops. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and do decisions, hopefully very quickly. schlep.
You know what, I still love Uber Roast, so I wish I.
Oh, yeah, you know what he's got? I should show you, hold on.
I'm not excited for the new Walk Street. It's also gonna be a stupid town. Oh, I went to Leo's with my son on Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
Because we almost got trampled in the mall. Forgot to tell you that.
Qatar. Antonio said that to me. Turn it up.
Long Island's KJOY 98.3 welcomes Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez, live at UBS Arena August 9th. For a chance to win tickets, check us out on Instagram at KJOY983. Brought to you by Uva Rosa Malvern, where you'll enjoy Italian cuisine with a twist, an extensive wine list, and daily specials.
Huh? Love it.
So I said to him, I texted him, I said, how much did that cost? And his response was $3,000 50 times on their Instagram page plus 2 tickets.
It's not bad.
No, I thought it was very
We
reasonable.
should go there tonight and eat some of that bean dip and get food for my family.
Somebody's got one. Patrizia's. There's another one.
What kind of food?
There's another one on
One that
Broadway.
had that-
There's another one on Broadway.
He
loves mussels, right?
Yes,
Ah.
but he's, the kid, it's not like kid friendly, so.
Yeah.
Their fries.
Isn't he your dad? Why do you need a
He's got children.
My kids.
Oh.
Yeah, my kids and my niece are, my niece is flying.
They'd be fine there, except they wouldn't like the
The
food.
acoustics in there.
Yeah,
It's
suck.
hard to hear in there because of the way it's.
It's very, very. All right, let's go. I got to get to Queens and have dinner, all right?
Did you see the cricket stadium that they're doing?
No, I didn't know they broke ground. Right across from the Lannon. It's in Eisenhower Park. I didn't realize they have not had one meeting thus far. And I keep saying, when the hell are we gonna have a meeting? When are we gonna have a meeting? Oh, yeah, Boulder, okay.
Somebody is, I mean, this is nasty.
Big money. This is super bucks. I was told the tickets aren't going. All right, let's go. Decisions.
Bye, Steph.
Bye, Steph. All right. Case 150 of 2024, Belmore, Andrea Vina. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I have a question mark next to it, actually. I don't know why I have a question mark. but
Maintain
that's
pool
what I do.
equipment not permitted in the side yard.
I made a stink about that because they got a permit. They never put the units in the place where they were permitted.
Let's hold that.
Okay, put
Let's
a
hold
question mark. Okay,
We'll
fine.
think about it. All right, next case.
Do you want original pool drawings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Next case is 151, 152 of 2024 Merrick, Jojo Ranieri. All right, do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I think I have a note, need updated search. I don't know why.
I have put numbers on the plot
Oh,
plan
that's
or
the one that he
something.
said they had applied, and,
I wrote, put numbers on the plot plan or something like that.
because
Oh,
this
yeah.
is the one
Numbers
where
on
he had a
there,
pool
remember?
on the plot plan,
Yes,
and not on,
yes. That,
So need updated site plan?
Yep,
no, search.
search.
He says he applied for a building permit for the swimming pool. It's shown on the Google Earth, but it doesn't, it's not indicated in his search from July 23.
Okay.
Oh, he's the one who said he was gonna get that new search.
Wasn't this?
That's,
Yeah.
I have it, this one needs updated search.
Okay.
That was Sal.
Yeah,
This one, I think-
you're right.
This one, I think you're correct. This is the one where they manually wrote the number in over there. So
Yeah,
there's
an
missing
initial
numbers.
then,
Yes,
yeah.
an initial then.
Mhm. So,
So that's okay?
So
I marked it, it's
Okay.
okay.
I'm good.
Anybody want to make a motion to okay it, if that's what you want to do?
You go.
Me?
Silence.
You're on.
151?
Yeah,
Okay, as it relates to case 151 of 2024 and 152 of 2024, affecting the property located at 202 Camp Avenue in Merrick, Joseph Ranieri, I move that the applicant's case be granted as requested.
Second.
Usual pool, no pool, okay.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed and abstentions? Next case, Oceanside, Dennis Keher. Do I have any discussion? That's 78 Thompson Avenue.
No.
If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 153 of 2024, Dennis Keener at 178 Thompson Avenue be granted as requested.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed and abstentions? Case 154 of 2024, Belmore, Howard Sherman. That's the roof over barbecue island, which was... Anybody want to make a motion on that one?
I move case 154, 2024,
Let's like to see where-
2024, location 2659 Karen Street, Belmore, be granted as requested.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed and abstentions? I'll have to call you back. Hello? I'll call you back on your cell phone. Can't do it.
I think you wanted to.
All right, case 155 of 2024, Zvi and Goldie Katz. That was, my main man presented that one. When we got the correct plans.
Yeah, the correct plans, because
For the most part, I didn't have an issue with it, with the exception of this deck, which encroaches into the side yard. It takes, oh wait, is that even a side yard? No, I know, but I'm thinking, for some reason, he said that had to be 25, so it's not really his side yard. It's one of his,
Multiple side yards,
well, he has
rear
3 yards
yards.
that have to be
Yeah,
25.
right.
And this was one of them, so whatever we want to call it, he wants to bring it down to 3 feet 1 1/4 inches. And so I would prefer to deny that, all it is a second-story deck, and I just think it's too encroaching into the, to go all the way up to 3 feet off the side yard on a second-level deck. I just think it's, yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that would be my.
Make your
my
motion.
opinion. So, with regard to case 155 of 2024 at Inwood, 108 Soloff Boulevard, I would move that it be granted in part and denied in part as it relates to constructing the two-story addition. That also granted in part, denied in part. The portion of the two-story addition that is actually house, I would grant, but the portion of the two-story addition that's on the easterly-most side of the dwelling proposed over there, that is solely a second-story deck that encroaches up to the 3 1 1/4 feet, I move to deny that second-story deck and to grant everything else, the covered porch, et cetera.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and abstention. Case 156 of 2024, Inwood Malik Tariq. Any questions, any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 156, 2024,
Mr. King.
Malik Tariq at 324 Bayswater Boulevard in Inwood be granted as requested.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed and abstention. Cases 157, 158, and 159, and 160 of 2024, Leon Lillian Richards. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I would move that these cases be granted as requested with the previously imposed conditions in the case number 553, 2019, 554, 2019, and 556 of
Is this
2019.
the one that needs the new house conditions added?
no, that's a
No.
different one.
All right,
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? The next case, White Diamond Lounge, do you want to hold that, or?
Yeah.
Someone want to take a look at that?
Joseph, would you like to take a peek at 161 of 2024?
We need to hold it anyway, because the applicant's attorney is
Right,
going
he's
to
got to
advise.
send, right. So we're going to hold that, all right? Case 765 of 2023,
What?
Belmore,
Wait,
Neil
where are you?
Lawrence.
I
Neil
thought we're on
Lawrence, 62.
162.
Neil Lawrence Millstream Realty has been adjourned to May 15th, 2024 at 2 p.m. And case 765, 2023, Jameh Masjid Belmore L.I. Inc. has been adjourned to June 12th, 2024 at 2 p.m.
Yep.
And I believe that concludes the calendar for today. Would someone like to make a motion?
Wait, hold
Unless, Patrick, you have something you'd like to discuss? Oh,
Oh,
do we want to go back on?
yeah, what's, 148, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion, hold on.
Go ahead. I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, as it relates to case 148 of 2024, David and Karen Sanchez affecting the property at 3812 Iona Lane in Oceanside. As we all know, we reviewed the video materials provided by the applicant. Just the language and the vulgar gestures were not understated or overstated. It was quite shocking, as the applicant testified that he and his wife lived there with their daughter and their granddaughter. The lewd conduct, the racially charged and gruesome remarks yelled at them repeatedly by the neighbor were highly offensive to me, and I know to others. Given this and all the other materials involved in this case, I think this is a unique situation where there isn't a high enough living fence to safely save them from all of this, what this person is visiting upon them. But at the very least, it does something. So I would move that we grant the applicants a living fence of a height not greater than 20 feet.
Sounds good. Second?
Permanently.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Somebody make a motion?
Do you need to modify that condition?
Yeah, there's just one more thing, so,
Housekeeping.
yes, housekeeping, I apologize. It was, brought to our attention,
Were you? As it relates to case number 553 of 2023, property at 799 Chestnut Street in Franklin Square. I move that we reopen this matter to get additional information and to reconcile why the plans submitted to us were not the same as the plans submitted to the building department.
Second.
Aye.